Hi there, it's Andrea with Brew City Thrifts. Today I am at the Goodwill in Pewaukee. This is a Goodwill that tends to carry, seems to me like it's a lot of newer items rather than the vintage or antique items that I'm really looking for. However, one time I did find a piece of fire and light here, so I keep coming back. It is a Monday, so not a typical time for me to come here. It might be picked over from the weekend, but we'll find out. Let's hit it. I picked up some candles right off the bat and then went over to this shelf, which is filled with wall hangings, metal decor, some wood items. And I noticed this humble little dish. It's probably a candle plate or perhaps a trinket dish. It's got a lucite back and abalone shell on the front, and I have a weakness for things made out of shell, abalone, or capis, and so that went in my cart. First item of the day. There's the candles I picked up. Delightfully, the shelves are very full at Goodwill today, and I'm in an area that has a lot of boxes, which you know I'm particularly fond of, and I spy a wooden box in the back there. It is quite heavy and I am unable to pull it out with one hand, so I have to put the camera down in order to lift it out. I've got it in my cart, and even though it's a pretty contemporary piece and it is just a wooden box, I kind of love it. I like the wood grain. I like the heaviness of the lid. It is Chip and Joanna Gaines's Hearth in Hand, and that's a Target brand. But I just kind of like this box, and I know I can use it for a million things. I mean, boxes, you can use them for a million things. So I decided to take it. And then I take a quick look at this cookie jar up here. It's ceramic. It is whimsical. It's got some little girls with flowers in the front, and the house is, you know, it's just a very cute piece. But there's no marking on the bottom, and I decided to leave it there. The tchotchke aisle is also overflowing. I take a look at these wooden figurines, and I think they were meant to be possibly Native American, South American, but the quality isn't that great, so I move on. When I look at figurines, I guess I'm pretty quirky about how I go about choosing figurines. I don't really know if there's a rhyme or reason to what speaks to me, but I rarely pick them up. It has to be something that just speaks to me, and in this case, I'm not finding too much that I'm interested in. Scanning the shelves, there are so many figurines. I pick up this little nappy dish. It looks like it could be a vintage piece, but it is, I didn't think the quality of the painting was very good, and it did have a chip. And then on the bottom shelf, this caught my eye. And I think it caught my eye because it looked like it was old. And when I lifted it up and looked on the bottom, it's Andrea of Sadek. That's at least how I pronounce it, typically. And these are typically very well done, nicely detailed bird figurines. It's not really a typical pickup for me, but I think I was really attracted to the age of this piece. There looked to be a small chip on one of the flowers, but I have not seen that kind of hand-printed label on the bottom of these before. And while it's grimy, again, it's just a beautifully done piece. And I decide I want to take this home and clean it up, and I think I'm going to take a chance on it. So that is going to come with me. This aisle has a lot of miscellaneous items. It's got vases and plaques and figures, and the thing that catches my eye is this watercolor print. It's got some nice colors, and it looks like it was made by, a local artist. It's signed. It's numbered. I think, well, I'll put that in my cart and give that a chance. And then I noticed these melamine salad servers, a fork and a spoon, and I really like the crab painting on them. I like that watercolor look and the blue and green. With salad season on its way, with warm weather on its way, I think I can probably sell these. And they're by Tommy Bahama, so that's a plus too. The mug aisle is also very full, and I am scanning slowly to see if anything jumps out at me. Pottery mugs, something that looks old, and the thing that jumps out at me is this monkey pod wood pineapple is an appetizer server. There's holes for toothpicks, and that would be fun in a tiki bar. And so I put it in my cart and go back for the second one. This one happens to be ceramic, and the figure makes me think it might be have originated in India. So I put it in my cart, but the ceramic one goes back on the shelf before too long. Oops, I almost got to watch that bird. So it's fine. Among the china, the first thing that catches my eye is this pretty plate. It appears to be a sakura plate. It's called Garden Vignettes. And it's really, actually, I really do like the design. Those sell, they kind of range widely, but I think they would sell for about $4 to $6 a plate on average. These plates with the checkerboard rim are unmarked. I also like the pattern, but I decided to move on. I noticed this piece of lucite back here under some of these other plates, and it is most likely a vintage lucite trivet with marigolds, and I thought it was kind of nice, so I did put it in my cart for a while, but I did end up putting it back on the shelf. Then I checked out this teacup and saucer set. It looked to have potentially hand-painted violets on it, and I am passionate about hand-painted violets on china. But I right away was noticing lots of chips on the rim, so I took a look at it and ended up putting it back as well. In this area, this hand-thrown pottery pitcher caught my eye. I especially loved that light blue kind of robin's egg glaze on the inside, and I liked the shape, the design. It was a very nice piece, so I popped that in my cart. On this shelf, the swan caught my eye. It clearly looked to be vintage, and when I turned it over, it had a barcode, so it was not that old. I took a quick look at it and noticed that there were chips on the Capodimonte style rose. Then I picked up this little dish. It is BBP, or Beaumont Brothers Pottery. It's a pretty humble little piece of pottery, but it's vintage. It's a nice piece of spongeware, and I decided for 99 cents I would pick that up. I think I can make a few dollars on that. Rounding the corner of an aisle, I see that there is a cart here. There is a wooden truck on it, and I am partial to handmade wooden trucks. This one is, it's made, it's sort of mass produced, even though it's got hand painted details. I think this is made for some sort of store or, a company. It's not like an artisan creating something for his grandkids, which is what I really get turned on by. But I put it in my cart for at least for a while. In the Halloween area, I am looking for ideally a lovely glass pumpkin, a vintage glass pumpkin, but a ceramic pumpkin will do sometimes. This one is kind of nice. I like the glaze on it. I like actually those dark areas of matte glaze along with the heavier orange glaze. So I thought it was a nice piece, but I didn't take it with me. I pick up this little dish, which has a powdery light blue glaze to it. It's actually bluer in person rather than how it appears on video. But I like the design. I like that raised dot spiral in the middle. I wondered if it was maybe one of those garlic presses where you can scrape the garlic on it, but I think it's a trinket dish and I thought it was pretty, so I put it in my cart. This ice bucket is aluminum and has a lucite handle and a lucite knob, and it was most likely mid-century. It's by Kronex, and I like the design. It doesn't sell for a whole heck of a lot on eBay, but I thought it was kind of cool, so I wanted to show you. So here was what was in my cart at the end of the shopping trip, and things were still going to go back on the shelves. First thing was that wooden truck, which wasn't handmade. I mean, it was hand painted, but it wasn't like an artisan's piece, so I put it back. This recipe box I thought would be very useful, and it was really well made, so I was going to keep that. This beautiful piece of pottery, I thought that was going to be a winner. I just love that blue glaze, and as I was kind of checking for chippies around the rim, I noticed after I picked it up and turned it around, yes indeed, there is a very, very large crack around the handle towards the back, and so it was repaired, but it wasn't gonna go with me, so that went back. This also went back because I did notice that one of those pineapple spikes right there, the tip of it had been chipped off, so that went back as well. Oops. I didn't damage it. Somebody else had damaged it, but that ended up going back. Then the little BBP dish, that is a sweet little piece of pottery. I thought this trinket dish was another sweet little piece of pottery, only 99 cents. Would be great in a beach house. This too, with the abalone shell, would look lovely in a beach house or in a bathroom. Not sure where that $2.99 price tag came from. The Tommy Bahama crab salad servers was just cute. That crab is adorable. Functional piece. Got my candles that I love to pick up. My friends love me for picking them up and giving them to them. And then this is the big find for me. This was the Bluebird, Andrea by Sadek, or Andrea by Sadek. I don't know how to pronounce it. Please, someone tell me. And yeah, that it's grimy and kind of gross, but it's a good piece. Hi, I'm having to lean kind of in a weird way because the sunset is right behind me and is blinding me basically in the mirrors. But that was a pretty modest trip, but kind of as I suspected. The items there were quite picked over, and the things that were still there are very contemporary. So it wasn't the biggest haul for reselling. Just a few small things that I will probably list. But the one thing that made it worthwhile to me, and this is kind of strange because it's not something I would ordinarily pick up, and it's that Bluebird by Andrea by Sadek, or Andrea by Sadek, however you pronounce it. Someone please tell me. Yeah, I don't typically pick up items like that, but I do know that her work, the work of that company, is quite nice. Some of those pieces do sell for good money, but a lot of them don't, and I don't really understand why. This one looked quite old, and it was, honestly, it was a
a mission of mercy when I saw it. It was so grimy and so, you know, covered with dirt. And I just feel like I want to take it home, clean it up, restore it to its former glory, and just, you know, just show the world what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like. Show the world, show a few people what it's supposed to look like. Anyway, that's kind of interesting to me, the thought of cleaning it up and seeing what it looks like once it's all refreshed. And so that's what I'm taking from my trip today. I hope it was still fun for you. Please like my channel if you liked coming along with me. Comment, come back, and we will do this again. Siblings, thrift on.
So here is our bluebird friend after he has had a nice long bath. I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. The colors are much more vibrant. The palette of this piece is rather muted, so it's not day glow or anything by any means, but you can really see the detail of the piece. You can see the colors. For example, just look at how the flowers look after having been washed compared to what they looked like before, and the way his eye kind of pops. So it's lovely. Hope you like it.